What if I told you that most people confuse obsession, dependency, and infatuation with true love? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist who decoded the human psyche, identified specific psychological patterns that separate authentic love from its dangerous counterfeits. Today, we're diving into Jung's most profound insights about love to reveal 9 unmistakable signs that what you're experiencing isn't just chemistry or attachment, it's the real deal. But here's the twist. Some of these signs might completely contradict what you think love should look like. Sign number 1. Love is not possessive. This is where the journey begins. Carl Jung understood love not as a soothing balm, but as a sacred fire, one that purifies, tests, and transforms. And the first sign that you are experiencing true love is this: love is not possessive. There is a love that holds with gentle hands, and one that grips with clenched fists. Possessive love says, "You are mine," but true love whispers, "You are free." Possessiveness is born from fear, not abundance. It doesn't say, "I see you," but rather, "I need you not to leave." It wraps its arms around the other, not in celebration, but in survival. And in doing so, it strangles the very soul it claims to cherish. Jung taught that love rooted in fear is not love at all. It is projection, a desperate attempt to use another as a salve for our own inner emptiness. It demands, controls, restricts, but true love does not fear freedom. It honors it. Imagine a love that rejoices when you grow, even if it means growing apart for a time. A love that allows solitude because it trusts connection. A partner who says, "I choose you, not I need you," and means it every day. Consider this: the one who loves you truly will not need to own you to feel secure. They will not collapse at your distance or panic at your independence. Instead, they will celebrate your sovereignty. They will walk beside you, not to claim you, but to accompany you. As Jung once wrote, "Where love reigns, there is no will to power, and where power dominates, love cannot breathe." So ask yourself, does your love free you or bind you? Does it invite you to grow or ask you to shrink? Is it holding space or just holding on? This is the first sign. Sign number 2. You accept their shadow. To love someone's beauty is easy, but to love their shadow, that is sacred. We are taught to seek perfection, someone calm, kind, polished, someone who makes us feel good, stays positive, fits our ideal. But love that only welcomes the light is not love, it is projection. Carl Jung saw the shadow as the unconscious, the hidden, unclaimed parts of the self, not evil but repressed, not the enemy, but the key to wholeness. We all carry this shadow: shame we've buried, rage we've denied, wounds we've hidden, and so does the one we love. To truly love them is not to deny that darkness, but to hold it without fear. The person before you is not a fantasy. They are contradictions, beautiful and broken, radiant and raw. They will falter. They will reveal truths even they once tried to forget. When this happens, love asks, "Can you stay?" Not to rescue, not to repair, but to witness, to remain present with the storm without making it yours. This is intimacy, not illusion. Projection is seductive. You fall in love with your idea of them, their strength where you feel weak, their light where you feel lost. But projection must fade. And when it does, will you recoil or will you truly see? Jung warned, everything that irritates us about others can lead to an understanding of ourselves. The shadow of your partner mirrors the shadow in you. What frustrates you may reflect what you have not yet owned. So ask, can you embrace their imperfection as part of their path? Can you allow their humanness without making it a failure? Can you meet their darkness with the same tenderness you offer their light? To accept the shadow is not to condone harm. It is to love with eyes open, to hold space for truth, not fantasy, to say, I see the parts you hide and I remain, not because you need them, not because you can fix them, but because love is not the absence of flaw, it is the presence of understanding. This is the second sign of true love. Not love that turns away from darkness, but love that stays, that softens, that sees. In this sacred space, both souls are invited to be fully known and finally fully seen. Sign number 3, it inspires growth. True love does not shelter you from change, it invites it. We often imagine love as a safe harbor, calm, soothing, unchanging, but Jung knew that the deepest love does not lull you to sleep. It wakes you up. It doesn't soothe your ego. It speaks to your soul. The one who loves you truly will not let you remain small. They will see the parts of you you've hidden, your fear of failure, your quiet longing, your dormant potential, and they will gently call them forth. This kind of love is not always comfortable, because growth is not comfortable. It is raw, it is disorienting, it breaks patterns, it asks you to evolve. Jung called this individuation, the journey of becoming your whole self, not perfect, but real. Love, then, is not the end of this journey. It is the catalyst. You will know this love when you feel more yourself, not less. When you are challenged, not attacked, but encouraged to step into who you might become. A partner who says, I see more in you than you dare to claim, and means it. That is not criticism. That is love in its highest form. Think of the difference. Love that demands you stay the same to keep the peace, and love that celebrates your transformation, even if it changes the dynamic. The latter is sacred. It means your becoming is not a threat, but a shared purpose. You may resist it at first. The old self will want to retreat. You may question their motives, feel exposed, even misunderstood. But if their push is grounded in respect, in reverence, not control, then what you are experiencing is not rejection. It is invitation. This love holds a mirror to your unrealized potential. It reminds you of dreams you've buried, talents you've doubted, truths you've deferred. And in that mirror, you're not just seen, you're summoned. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and the right partner will not hinder that privilege. They will help protect it." So ask yourself, does your love encourage your growth, or ask you to stay safe? Do they see your becoming, or just your past? Do they stand by you as you stretch, or pull you back when you rise? This is the third sign. Love that doesn't just comfort. Love that transforms. Sign number 4. It's more than just passion. The beginning is a spark. Their presence feels electric. You call it chemistry, destiny, a soul connection, and maybe it is. But Jung would ask, is it love or is it projection? Attraction is real, but it is not always rooted in reality. You feel drawn, consumed, magnetized. But often you are not meeting the other person. You are meeting yourself, more precisely, the parts of yourself you've yet to claim. Jung described this as the anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine archetypes that live in every psyche. They appear in dreams, fantasies, and yes, in the people who awaken desire. They are not illusions, but they are not yet real. They are symbolic mirrors, guiding you to your own unlived essence. So you fall, not for them, but for who they awaken in you. He becomes your protector, She becomes your muse. But these are roles, not people. And when the illusion fades, what remains? This is the moment of truth. Do you cling to the image or dare to see the individual? True love begins where projection ends. It begins when you choose to see not who you imagined, but who truly stands before you, flawed, complex, human. That is when passion matures into presence. Early desire is often rooted in fantasy, but sustaining love requires truth. Can you stay when the glow dims, when reality sets in? Can you find beauty not just in their light, but in their depth? Real passion doesn't disappear. It transforms. It shifts from intoxication to intimacy, from possession to partnership. You find yourself wanting less to be consumed and more to be connected. Desire becomes grounded not in fantasy, but in deep recognition. Jung taught that real love is not about chasing the ideal. It is about integrating it. The anima and animus are not discarded, they are owned. What they awaken in you becomes part of your conscious self. And from that wholeness, you love, not from hunger but from choice. So ask yourself, do you still choose this person now that you see them? Do they still choose you, even when illusion has faded? This is the fourth sign of true love. It does not vanish with the fantasy. It deepens. It becomes real, not projection, but presence. Sign number 5. You feel whole, not incomplete. You've heard it said, find your other half, as if love is a puzzle and you are missing a piece. But Jung would warn, this belief is not romantic. It is dangerous. To seek completion in another is to abandon yourself. It is to enter love not as a sovereign soul, but as a fragment, desperate to be made whole. And desperation, no matter how disguised, cannot sustain true intimacy. Jung taught that each person is called to individuation, a journey inward, a process of becoming whole within. It is not about perfection, it is about integration, the union of light and shadow, past and potential, conscious and unconscious. When you seek love from lack, your partner becomes your rescuer, or worse, your replacement. You depend on them for validation, for purpose, for identity, and slowly the relationship collapses under that weight. True love does not complete you. It reflects the completeness you've already begun to claim. In such love, you are not half of something. You are whole. And so is the other. This kind of relationship is not built on dependency, but on shared presence. You don't dissolve into each other. You stand beside one another, not in fusion, but in faith. A whole person in love can be alone without collapse. They can disagree without falling apart. They support, but do not save. They listen, but do not absorb. They see your wounds, but do not try to wear them. They witness your fears, but do not become responsible for them. They trust your process, and you trust theirs. This balance creates a sacred space where two souls can truly meet. This love is not needy, it is generous, not frantic, but grounded. It does not fear solitude, it respects it. And from this space, love becomes a celebration, not a cure. So ask yourself, do you seek someone to complete you or someone to grow with? Do you enter love from a sense of lack or from a place of fullness? Do you collapse into the other or stand fully beside them? Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And yet, it is the foundation of real love, because only when you accept your own soul can you truly meet another's. This is the fifth sign of true love. Not love that fills your emptiness, but love that honors your wholeness. A sacred meeting of two complete selves, walking, not leaning, loving, not needing, choosing, not clinging. Sign number 6. Love has a spiritual dimension. Sometimes love doesn't make sense. You meet someone and it feels ancient, as if your paths were drawn together long before you ever spoke. A glance feels familiar. A silence feels full. You can't explain it, but you know. Jung called these moments numinous, mystical, transcendent, charged with meaning, not random, not coincidence, but part of a deeper pattern. A pattern that lives beneath the surface of ordinary life. A pattern that brings souls together for reasons the mind cannot grasp. Love, in its highest form, isn't just psychological, it is spiritual. It connects us not just to each other, but to something greater. Jung spoke of the hieros gamos, the sacred marriage, not just the union of two people, but the merging of inner opposites, masculine and feminine, conscious and unconscious, ego and soul. When two individuals come together from this depth, their love becomes an initiation, a path of transformation. This kind of love begins with synchronicity, those strange, symbolic moments, dreams that overlap, timings that defy logic, feelings that arrive before understanding. These are not signs to dismiss. They are invitations, signals from the soul that something holy is beginning. But a spiritual love does not mean a painless one. In fact, the sacred demands truth, and truth is rarely easy. This love will confront your illusions, test your ego, and bring your wounds to the surface, not to break you, but to heal you. You'll know this love because it awakens more than desire. It awakens wonder, purpose, a sense that your connection is part of something mythic, something bigger than both of you. It's not about grand gestures, it's about sacred presence. Two people who speak not only with words, but with energy, who honor silence, who grow not just as partners, but as pilgrims. Two souls whose union becomes a vessel for the divine. So ask yourself, does your love open your heart not just to them, but to the world? Does it feel like coincidence or calling? Does it deepen your sense of the divine, even in the mundane? This is the 6th sign of true love. It is not just emotional, it is archetypal. It stirs the soul, aligns with mystery, and reminds you that love is not just chemistry. It is consciousness, it is ceremony. When you feel it, you know. You've not just found a partner, you've met a mirror of your spiritual self. Sign number 7. Love challenges you to awaken. Love that only soothes may be sweet, but love that awakens is sacred. Carl Jung knew that real love is not a soft escape. It is a mirror, one that does not flatter but reveals not only your beauty, but your blind spots, not only your dreams, but your defenses. You may think love should feel easy, but the deepest love will stir your shadows, not to hurt you, but to help you see. It will surface the fears you've buried, the patterns you repeat, the truths you've tried to avoid. This is not cruelty, it is transformation. The right partner will not just echo your light, they will reflect your darkness, and in that reflection, they will call you to rise, not by demand, but by presence, not through shame, but through truth. Jung taught that projection is at the heart of all conflict. What irritates you in the other may be unclaimed in yourself. Your partner becomes the living mirror of your unconscious, a reflection not of who they are, but of who you have yet to face. So when love challenges you, pause. Ask not, why are they doing this to me, but what is this showing me about myself? In sacred relationship, conflict is not the end. It is a portal. The tension becomes fertile ground for awareness. The discomfort becomes the doorway to awakening. You are being invited, not punished. Pushed, not away, but inward. This kind of love holds space for confrontation, not for domination, but for evolution. It invites you to ask the hard questions, to break old stories, to grow, even when it hurts. And it asks you to do the same for them, to reflect their patterns with compassion, to stand firm without judgment, to love them enough to let them face themselves, and to walk beside them, even when the road feels uncertain. So ask yourself, does your love challenge you to be more conscious? Does it call you to integrity, to self-awareness, to wholeness? Or does it let you stay asleep in your patterns? This is the 7th sign of true love. Not love that avoids conflict, but love that welcomes awakening. A love that stretches, stings, and softens until the self that emerges is more whole than ever before. Sign number 8. Love includes radical honesty. True love is not polite. It is not about niceties or tiptoeing around truth. It is about radical honesty, raw, unfiltered, and courageous. Most relationships fear the full truth. We soften our words, hide our wounds, mask our thoughts. We fear that if we are too much, we will be left. So we perform, we filter, we pretend. But love that lasts cannot live in pretense. It demands the courage to speak, not just the beautiful, but the real. Jung knew that truth is the foundation of transformation. Without it, there is no growth, only illusion. He taught that love must include confrontation with what is, not what is desired, not what is imagined, but what actually exists in the psyche, the soul, and the self. Radical honesty is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is saying, here is who I am, all of me, and allowing the other to do the same. This kind of honesty dismantles fantasy. It breaks the mask, yes, but only to reveal the face beneath, the real face, the one that longs to be seen, not admired. In a radically honest relationship, there is room for the hard conversations, for truths that are inconvenient, for words that tremble as they are spoken, but these words are sacred. They are offerings of the soul. Such love says, I will not lie to protect your comfort. I will not lie to preserve the illusion. I will speak what is true, because I respect you and us too much not to. And you must ask yourself, can you speak your truth even if your voice shakes? Can you hear theirs even when it challenges your story? Radical honesty does not always feel good in the moment, but over time it builds something unbreakable. Trust, because when someone shows you their truth and you stay, that is when love deepens. This is the 8th sign of true love. Not love that avoids discomfort, but love that dares to tell the truth. A love where nothing is hidden and everything is revealed. Not for drama, but for liberation. For only when everything false is stripped away can what is real finally stand. Sign number 9. Love evolves. Over time, love that is real does not stay the same. It grows, it bends, it transforms because you do. Jung taught that the self is never static. You are not who you were last year, not even last week. And so, how can love remain untouched? The illusion of lasting passion, permanent compatibility, or effortless connection is seductive. But it is just that, an illusion. True love understands that change is not a threat. It is the nature of life and of soul. To love someone is to allow them to evolve, to witness their becoming, even when it means unlearning what you thought you knew. It is to love the same soul in new forms, again and again. At times, your rhythms will match. At others, they will not. The question is not whether change will come. It will. The question is, will you change together? This is the sacred work of long-term love. To keep choosing, even as the story rewrites itself. To adapt not from obligation, but from devotion. To ask over and over, who are you now? And, will I still meet you here? Jung knew that love requires renewal. Not once, but continuously. Each phase of relationship, new chapters of intimacy, conflict, realignment, are part of individuation. Love evolves because you evolve. And so the relationship becomes a living organism, not a fixed object. It breathes, it weathers seasons, it dies to what was and is reborn in what now is. You will outgrow versions of each other. This is not failure, it is fidelity to the self. And real love does not resist growth. It supports it, even when it's messy, even when it's uncertain. So, ask yourself, can you love them through their evolution? Can you let them change and still stay present? Can you allow love to move, not just in circles, but in spirals? This is the 9th sign of true love, not love frozen in its first form, but love that evolves, deliberately, consciously, and continuously. A love that lives, that grows as you grow, that holds space not just for who you were, but for who you are becoming. So now you've heard the 9 signs, not of fairy tale love, not of the kind sung in songs or sold in movies, but of a deeper love. A love that sees, stretches, breaks, and blesses. A love that does not possess but honors your freedom. A love that accepts the shadow and sees wholeness within imperfection. A love that challenges you to awaken and invites you into your fullest becoming. This kind of love is not for the faint of heart. It will not shield you from pain, but it will show you the truth. And truth, Jung knew, is the beginning of all healing. If you have found this love, cherish it. If you are still seeking, do not rush. The love that transforms cannot be forced. It must be met with readiness, with awareness, with soul. And if you are healing from a love that did not meet these signs, let this not be a reason to close, but a reason to grow. Love, as Jung taught, is not a destination. It is a crucible, a path, a process that reveals not only who the other is, but who you are becoming in their presence. The signs are not rules. They are invitations. They are mirrors. They are reminders that real love does not complete you. It reveals you. So ask yourself one last time, does your love set you free? Does it challenge you to become more whole, more awake, more real? If so, walk that path, and walk it with courage. Because the most sacred thing 2 souls can do is not simply stay together, but grow together. If this video spoke to your soul, don't stop here. We've created more videos on shadow work, on projection, on Jung's timeless wisdom about the self and soul. Each one is a guide for the journey within and for the love that awaits beyond illusion. Click through, watch more, and keep walking this path with us. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Join a community of seekers, of lovers, of souls awakening to something deeper. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And above all, never settle for love that keeps you small. Choose the love that transforms.